problem. Lekro did so much work there from heaven. One of the harder spots to fight out of. Typically we talk about and we try to characterize these high-low situations as being favored for the person on the high ground. Yeah. But when it's heaven, it's such a small angle. There's so many more spots to stand in on the lower site. You'd usually give it to the Ts, and they were able to best that. So now we move into round number 2. Guns have been bought up. Most money spent here for NIP, and it's a fast cross outside. Ence wasting no time and making a lot of noise.
Yeah, but doesn't seem to matter. They're all fine. Forest up close in the vent. Eagle does nothing. Unfortunately for the weapons that still are in the hands of the ninjas, that scout will be nullified by the fact that B is occupied by Ence. Follow Molotovs, just clearing all these corners, being very thorough in their conversion of the pistol.
Bomb has been planted.
3 on 5 at the moment. There's not going to be a chance to go for the retake. Some of these extra kills could be good, but it's equally as tantalizing for the SMGs to run out first and try to make the most money possible. Losing them wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, so we'll see what happens. Money has been granted a boon by that bomb plant. 2 kills go the way of NIP, though, in the exits. Will Rez be able to recover the rifle is going to be a big deal. Mag 7 rings off and does a ton of damage, but doesn't actually get the frag. Luckily, Get Right's got the Mag 7. You can use that in upper pretty much the entire game, and it's going to be better than most guns.
Ooh, good chance for Rez, but not even going to deny the Mag 10 save. So, AK, MP5, Mag 10, Mag 7, and a Scout. That is variety, and I've been told it's the spice of life.
This is what Gaben wanted all along, right? He wanted everybody to use every gun possible, play all the maps possible, have a variety of skins so they could look good playing with all of these different guns. And a lot of that has come into fruition. There's never been a time where more guns have been used at once in any iteration of Counter-Strike, which is an interesting problem that they tried to solve. Yeah, they definitely got what they wanted. So it makes these ecos a lot more dynamic, which I think is a plus for everybody, including those that have to be on eco. There's so many more options. It's interesting and more difficult to play against them. The Scout is going to be a pivotal one that stays as a constant kind of through these eco rounds, where it's at a decent price point and it has a scope. And you can take your ultra close range guns and couple them with an ultra long range gun at a budget price.
Now we have that fast outer cross once more. There is a flank actively happening outside, so if these CTs on site can slow things down long enough, then maybe it's okay. But Alexi B, he's cheeky. Hiding up in the corner, clears that flanker. Lekro still has a bit of an advantage in terms of a vertical position here, with support as well on ramp. So it's that last challenge for Ence, just the entry inwards. And sure enough, Lekro, he's gonna get his feet wet. 2 frags for him, 3rd potential no. It is aerial to deal back some damage, but speaking of damage, look at the T's, so tagged up. But Forest, he slipped by. He has the bomb at his feet. And if only he had himself a better gun. Alexi clears him from above. Ence 3-0.
And that's huge from Alexi. He was in secret, so he, instead of coming late after getting the kill and just coming the safe way, he decided to flank through ramp and then get behind 2 players that were going to be very hard to kill, especially after they had already thrown the utility. As soon as that Molotov came out to the left side of ramp, you'd think, okay, they've got about 7 seconds where they can get in. There's 1 choke point there. But then once they try to do that, Lekro is also behind the silo on the upper rafters and can shut them down for the players in decon and the ones in control. And then him getting 2 kills makes things very, very weird. So important rotation for Alexi. Pretty much had to make his own decision there and made a very good one. Now we're moving into round number 4. Full buyout for both teams. Still an SMG here for Alexi. Not going to be the biggest problem in the world unless you get shot out of the sky by Forest.
Yeah, who then gets blinded in return. X7 can trade at the cost of his health, but it's just Ence filling the kill feed now. Lekro throws himself outwards. Will find X7 in the spam, just nearly getting that next kill. But he's got the bomb control at least, and there's so much time for him to play around with. It seems like Ence, they're gonna go shoulder to shoulder here. Or no, there's gonna be a gap in the timing. Sergey, he runs out, and still yet Alu will have that element of surprise. Lekro blindsided as Ence find 4.
Served as a bit of a bait for him to run out first, but yeah, maybe if they ran out at the same time, it would be a little bit less precarious. If Lekro had the assumption that maybe somebody else was there just coming late, then it would have been death for him. So yeah, I mean, I guess fortunate that Alu played it correctly, made sure to walk in those last moments, and was close enough spaced that the timing was probably strange for Lekro. So all those things come together. Ence pulled together the 4th round. Get Right's buying a Nova here in round number 5. And it's another full-on, well, basically eco, where they've invested a bit. They still have a chance to win, but it's quite low.
The old Nova.
powerful weapon from the top of hut. Lots of damage to be dealt. Anyone in Squeaky has basically no chance of getting out safely, provided there's no Molotov top hut or a flash to help him as an assist. And Aerial being in lower is huge. Again, we're rocking the rotations. There's 2 people down here. Him dying would be a big deal, but him getting all this info is even more of a big deal.
Oof. Get right can't even get down vent, so that shotgun never employed. Pellets remain in their shells. Ence remain all over the map, blanketing this upper bomb site. Poor Forest has not even really been given a chance to rock heads with the Deeg. So it seems 5-0. This is a hell of a start from Ence.
Yeah, it's a great start, obviously. Once this bomb ticks down, provided Force doesn't die, Ence will be on fire in pretty much the fastest way possible. The early 5-0 start, a lot of fast outside rushes that they completed, and there it is. Ence are officially on fire in this match. We saw that happen a couple of times, and it was pretty important to think about the moments that teams went on fire in the tournament so far, and how that affected the result of the match. I mean, even yesterday when Ence played against Astralis on Dust 2, it was interesting to see that when the scoreline was so tight, Ence were on fire in the second half after having a strong start there. So that can be relevant. You know, ultimately Astralis won. They did start off the match with a 5-0 themselves, so there's something to be said there. For NIP in this round, another rifle round, substantial round. They've got to figure out if Ence want to go for a fast outside again. And for Ence, they know that because they've already conditioned them into being afraid of this, they're going to expel a lot of utility early on just in case. And that just in case utility is going to count for later in the round if Ence do pull off a really slow default. And it seems like they're moving in that direction.
A little bit of team play going on outside. Attempting to help Brez catch an opening kill, but Aerial has remained behind the boxes. Draken's eyes to the sky. But all events have arrived on the ground floor. Rattle off a shot, doesn't connect to the target. And are Ence going to be wary of this? Ooh, careful, bud.
One of the only chances you'll get to do that now that he's heard that op shot. There's only a few places more that Draken can go back to.
Little set piece. Blank the cross. It'll be curious to see whether or not Aerial actually applies pressure into the basement or just sits out here. You know, this is a classic move. With that wall of smokes, you'll see teams just walk behind it, giving up no audio cues, or pulling a fake like this. You see this ramp player, he goes down because they have no idea whether there's terrorists in the B site, when in reality, had he held, he would have just met 4 Ts his way. Draken not able to get into position before they move past, and so it falls on Lekro. We saw this position actually pay off, but I mean, this is his kryptonite. Completely countered by the players on ramp, so that's an easy headshot, a follow-up smoke to block off any additional vision, because you never know where Nip have got off to, but it's a plant in the end. 10 seconds to spare, and the CT's nowhere to be found.
Really smartly done from Ence to establish that outside control. Getting away with the smokes and crossing the red box without getting off is also a big bonus for them. Draken, even though he gets his op shot off, will fall off, and then he re-rotates to Turnpike so that he can refresh Lekro's position. Lekro goes downstairs, and he goes down so early that he gets to a very formidable spot at the back of the site, but because they have no information outside, there's no one to help him. So on the one hand, he gets to a good spot. On the other, there's no way for him to like guarantee his own safety apart from his own mechanical skill, which is exactly the position that Ence wanted to put them in the first place. So really well played overall from Ence, and again, no losses here. Bomb plant down, lots of money made. They hold all of their guns, and it's NIP will try again next round. Fortunately for them, well, it's officially now a 4v4, so they retain most of their weapons. They'll have enough to rebuy, and we'll maybe get to see a 6-1 scoreline. But it really looks like Ence are not showing signs of slowing down at the moment.
Poor Draken as well. I mean, when Lekro heads down to that B bomb site, there was an opportunity for the Opera to peek into ramp, just say 2-3 seconds sooner, and he would have been able to hold the cross. Lekro could have easily repositioned prior to being peeked from ramp. I mean, it was just Ence nailing the timing on that one.
Yeah, and just forcing them to be a slave to make those mistakes. I mean, forcing them in a situation where they have to guess on timing, that's a matter of information. If you have all the information, you never have to guess. And if that's the game that Ence can keep making NIP play, then they'll continue to have success.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Smokes aren't walls, folks.
Now Alu's going to probably try to counter-pick him. Information that the CTs are outdoors. Ample opportunity, minute 15.
This is a strong start, something different from what we've seen in the past few rounds. So it'll be on Ence to show us what they can now do from a man disadvantage. It is an important stat. Just as important as it is to close out 5v4s, if you want to win tournaments, you have to win some of your 4v5s as well. And yes, that means the other team played badly, but you can have a hand in making them look bad.
Rez is shuffling his feet here. Knows there's pressure in terms of utility. May not anticipate somebody this close. And X7, he's going to walk on the railing as to offset the crosshair placement if Rez had even predicted this peak, but that's not the case. Now the pinch onto the A site can begin. Sergey clears Get Right and Forrest right thereafter. Beautiful entry frag, but they've left bomb.
30 seconds.
Oh, this is weird. Lekro, he's going to hear that door swing wide. He was just looking to exit towards T-spawn and save, presumably, but could have been a blunder had the time not been still a bit on the clock.
Even if Sergey doesn't win that duel, Lekro's there waiting for him. There was a chance that they could have easily lost on time. And they found Draken, so the 3v1 is secure. Draken's in a terrible position to have with an op, and obviously with an op will not want to try to win this round, considering his odds. And another fantastic round from Ence. They wrap on upstairs, showing how they have more versatility than just running outside and taking lower control. And that's going to be a boon for them as well. Oh, Draken is about to be sandwiched. The peak timing is not great from both sides, but Alu gets away with his life.
Well, they want him, Mohan. They want to slay the Draken. Alu's going to fall at the end of this. Almost, just almost. He takes the initiative on his own. Sure, he kills the player in the end, but most notably loses that op.
Yeah.
You know, and economic damage is not going to slow down Ence. Look at that cash.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much they've stacked. And we did see yesterday how important it was that, like, if you do win a lot of rounds in a row and a lot of them are very successful, you can kind of stay on top of the fact that the loss bonus improves your ability to come back into a game. If you build up a huge bank, you can just continue to chew on these, like, lesser buys over and over again and put ninjas in a position where do they want to force up constantly? I mean, if you have like a 3 SMG, couple rifle, half nades, half armor, half utility, and a kit, one person with a kit kind of buy, you will lose far more rounds to a team that has an op, that have Molotovs, and that have their full belt. And especially since Ence are on the T side, they can go through more of those buys than NIP can. So we're going to have another full buyout for NIP. It's not one of those rounds to think about. But it is cool to see Forrest back on the M4A1. Frez has also picked it up. I'm not sure if that was a drop to him, but with the bit of a buff that came to the M4, it pretty much was just a buff to Forrest. One of the very few M4A1 players left on the planet. Even though he did switch back, if only briefly. We saw Rez in Heaven last rounds, switching between the ladder and outside.
Yep.
And again, another situation where Ence forced them to guess.
Man drops off silo, unspotted. Rez has an inkling as to what's up, but I believe he's just crouched behind. Yeah, that's X7, just sitting behind vent. It's a nice sunny day, soaking up the rays.
Sunny, you say?
Yeah.
Continue.
You couldn't help yourself. Rez still hasn't found an angle. This smoke wall, not just one player, not just two, but 4. They're met by resistance. Forrest, his utility down here in their face, and that grenade will be good in terms of softening up Alexi. Now he repositions. He's got the cover of the stairwell. Sergey left to lurk. He did get the best of Get Right on this A site in the previous round. But it's Alu to open up. That is Rez, removed from the equation. Forrest flamed off of the staircase. Has to give it up. No support for him, unfortunately for Forrest. Now the ramp player does come down, so 2 CTs on the B site, 1 up on A, revealing himself as he trades to Sergey. And Ariel now has come in to clear the bomb site. Him and X7 get them both bomb planted simultaneous, and they know Get Right's nowhere near.
And you can see, again, by the way that their crosshairs are gesturing, that they are not sure of where those fights are going to come, which allows the Ts to take control of a situation where a CT would have an advantage. If you walk into a CT site, they're holding the one angle that you can come from, and they can stand in any place on that site, then you are almost always going to lose that, or should, especially if you don't have good information. And Ence are doing a great job of keeping that under guise. this round, it's kind of been like a left, right, and curveball situation where they've gone upstairs standard, they've gone downstairs standard and fast, and on this round they throw the smokes across onto lower, and then they walk it, and they've also included a ramp fake, if we remember. So we know that they can threaten outside without actually going. They can threaten outside and make noise. And now we've learned, and NIP have learned, they can threaten outside and not make any noise. That makes things even more confusing. And they're showing us, Ence are showing us how important, how useful, and how versatile it can be to go outside or just to use it, even if you don't go.
All right, here we go. A little eco success. The Deagle catches the head of X7. Because it's at a distance, the weapon won't be retrieved, so it's still just that scout in terms of primaries for ninjas. Now Ence going to play off the back foot. Like you said, you need to be able to convert 4v5s. They've done so. And will more than likely do it yet again, unless the damage can stay consistent. So they've got Alexi tagged up by the scout. Rez spam shot through, clears the kill. Now there's a double peek in from heaven as well. This could disrupt the bomb plant, but the AK's rattled back. It's Ariel and Sergey with a couple of kills. Bomb needs to be planted. As this A main smoke does fade. It's replenished? No. May have missed the mark.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit deep, but it actually just helps the op.
Ooh. It's only going to take a couple of bullets from these pistols to clear the majority of Ence, but they all just sit pretty in their positions, off angles in the open of lobby. Rez and Draken can still pinch. Bomb's halfway gone. Nobody's giving them angles.
How difficult is this? We've all been in this position that Draken is in. He's going through the exact same anxiety as anybody would who has to peek out of heaven. And at this point, the bombs tick too far. There's no chance for a defuse to come out. He's going to just try to get a kill, but the Deagle fails him. And Rez is going to maybe show us how to do it right, or maybe not. A couple shots missed. Player behind him.
Baited in.
There he is. Yeah, that's it. He was mayonnaise in a sandwich. You like mayonnaise in your sandwich?
No.
Okay, I was hoping you'd chime in, but I wasn't sure.
I'm a mustard man,
I just
Mohan.
had a feeling, you know. I feel like Canadians like mayonnaise. I didn't mean to stereotype. I'm sorry.
Like a good sandwich, however, all the ingredients for Ence really seem to be coming together at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, the trade frags, even this, I think this last little piece when they bait Rez into peeking towards lobby, like this is something we've seen from Ence so far this weekend. Consistency throughout the entirety of the roster, and everybody's hitting shots.
Got bacon, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and pineapple.
Oh, God. Don't get me started. Alu's going to try to take the high ground over the red box once more, looking for that angle outdoors, but the CTs need to be cautious. Ooh, that would have been a dirty shot. The repeat nearly gets him.
Damn, he beats him to both spots.
Yeah.
The jump up's good. The relocation and guess as to what angle he's going to peek is right.
Welcome back to Tier 1. You got God Alu on the other side.
Outside controls once again established, but it looks like Ence are being a bit more frisky this time around. They want the fight here, and Ninjas are happy to give it to them. So it would be surprised if this all goes down without a kill.
Ooh, X7 doing a really good job of just working around the cover, keeping himself out of the eyes of the CTs until he extends into Lekro. Sergey has snuck into ramp as his teammates applied that pressure outside, so a good pronged assault in terms of taking map control. And it's opened up avenues, most notably down to the B site. They just have to get past Forrest. He sits towards Heisenberg and well, he tries to catch the heads, but Molly's gonna push him forward. Opper, patient, Alu. Hits Lekro, never saw it coming. 4v2 and Forrest is amidst this. Looks to deny the plant, will kill the planter, but finds himself alone, unfortunately, and doesn't get an additional kill off that same peak.
Could have been such a fantastic round to watch if he actually stopped that bomb from going down.
It's so far in the open, and the utility is non-existent for Ence.
Just look at the role reversal right now. If it was that case, then Forrest would stand still, and the T's would be the ones scrambling to figure out how to kill him, and instead, he's got to bait them out of positions they have no business leaving, and if they did, they'd probably look like MIBR did yesterday to hand Alu that ace. So it's like Alu and co are not willing to make that mistake, although he does go down. Information gathered for Forrest and in AWP and a way out. So that is quite nice. But it is 10-0, folks.
Oh, and he loses it. Ariel gives chase hot on his heel.
That's tough. Another round. This time they force outside control, but it feels like they're like, okay, we're going to go outside, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Which is, it's totally reasonable. Now, they've had a lot of things go their way, and so why not slow it down even more? You continually have more utility to work with. You can play a longer round better and safely and more secure. Plus, you have confidence. Plus, you've shown so many different strats. The CTs are going to be scrambling at every single point in the round. And so, let's see. We'll go outside. We've been safe at going outside, having 5 alive, falling back to ramp. We've been safe going 5 alive, crossing to lower. We've been safe doing that, making noise. Why not just go outside and then try to fight and see what happens and then take the round from there? And that seems to be a strategy that works. That's even more salt in the wound for NIP, though, because that, like, to them, it's clear. They were just going for outside control. We couldn't even stop their default. They almost handed us that round in some sense, or at least an opening kill. And there, X7, even though he dies after getting 2 frags all by himself. So, Ence, again, move on to 10 rounds. NIP have basically nothing to work with. They've upgraded a few pistols. It seems like deagles are becoming more popular just because there's, again, less. There's less to lose. You lose less. What am I trying to say? Take this away.
Okay. It's back in my control, folks. And speaking of control, there is none for the Ninjas in terms of this outer push. Once more, getting down closer to the B site, get right inside vents. You can see the CTs scrambling down ramp, but as Ence have done, they pump the brakes a bit. Sergey's not going to clear it. Whoa, wild. Flick of the wrist, get right, upgrades into the AK. Rez, he's even managed 2 frags off his CZ. But Alexi B has the back of Draken. Executed. The spinal tap, and now the retrieval mission. How do Alu and Alexi work their way into the 2v4? Clearing the man on the A site is smart, opens up some avenues. But with an AWP, it's going to be difficult, and there's so many corners down here.
Yeah.
It's a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, so the first thing you do is you look at the time, you look at utility, you talk to your teammate, how much money, or sorry, not how much money, what kind of options do we have in this situation? How do we get info without dying? There's a player spotted. Alu's also got his own target. They can't win their duels individually, though. Alu picks up the slack for Alexi. Unfortunately, gets taken out by Rez, but fortunately for NIP, they at least put one down. Again, a round like this is not one that they can take and study because it's Nico.
It screams similarities to what we saw with Ence versus MIBR on Train yesterday, where like the 2 rounds they ended up winning in their first half were just arguably flukes, an ace and an eco win. So they've got that at least, a round on the board. No 16-0 so far.
That's true. We did our best to make sure that we didn't jinx it, and it still doesn't happen. Outside, I'm sorry, upstairs is getting fought. I think Alexi was able to get that kill as Squeaky and Rez catches someone dropping inside of Mini, but Sergey is here to come out late out of hut and get a kill.
Ooh, and the Molotov, that's going to burn Lekro down into the open. He charges forward, but okay. Good for it. 24 health, man advantage over Draken. Not completely countered, but there's an opening, a huge opening for Alexi down into the B bomb site. He's going to be playing this alone because Alu still sits over on secret stairs.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And we've seen CTs caught as they tried to rotate down this very same staircase. And is it going to happen again? Once more, Rez completely blindsided by a similar situation. The ladder control from Alexi could very well seal the deal because it's just Draken as he walks down ramp.
That rotate was just like beautiful math, you know. It was so simple. A lot of teams wouldn't have made that decision, but it just made so much sense, and they executed it with haste.
He's got a kit, taps the bomb. Gonna smoke themselves off and spray through, easy peasy. 11-1, 10-point lead. Ninjas, they had a fresh breath of air in their sails, and it's all now blown
You've ever
away.
played those kind of like, you ever played like a Metal Gear Solid or something, like a game where if you get spotted, you lose? Like,
yeah.
There's a situation where they made all the correct moves to not get spotted. Lekro drops out of heaven and gets his 2 kills, but then the bomb backs up perfectly out of line of sight into the vent, so there's no way they know he gets there. And then because they took so long, Lekro came down late after the bomb was planted, and the bomb was planted backside silo, where it's perfect for Alu to deny the main rotation to attacking the back of the silo. And then they both get into perfect afterplan spots, and it's like they have the advantage in the 2v3 the whole time. That was super good stuff, and the communication on Ence is always surprising me.
Ooh, anticipating some kind of outer push, maybe? We haven't seen Ence kind of pump the brakes early like this. But maybe realizing Ninjas feel as though they are backed against the wall.
Yeah, well, they know they're in store for another buy.
But how big? Oh, posted up, waiting for its target. Already Aerial has passed. He could just hold pretty. Or sit pretty. Supporting grenades, and spotted. Rez falls back, fearing pressure. They're gonna need additional smoke if they want to do this safely.
Man, they're doing such a good job of pushing people out of spots. Not making as much presence as they need to. They're baiting it. They baited out a shot from Rez. They baited out a shot from Draken. They push Rez all the way back into Secret. Draken's flash now as more players crossed. And officially, this is the moment. NIP said we had outside control for a second, and now we don't know what the hell is going on.
Ence have been so good at creating these kinds of shrouded situations, but speaking of shroud, headshot machine, Aerial just pops Rez off the staircase. Get Right's gonna try to play close smoke, and it's Lekro to keep the numbers even. 15 seconds.
Yeah, and they're going to try to do this. They're actually going upstairs, and the hold is pretty good. There's a man top of the hut, Forrest, with just a little bit of health left over. Sergey is able to take him out. It's a 1v2. The bomb cannot get planted at this moment. He almost dies after time. NIP go ahead and snag the round. And that was a pretty impressive hold overall, Ence. I mean, from the early to the mid round, they held on strong. It was smart play by them. They got in all positions they wanted to. Map control was great and in their favor. It just came down to the gunfights for NIP, and they were ahead at the end when it mattered.
So a second. It's not much, but it's something. I love that we're closing out in consistent gun rounds. What's up next, Ence? We've seen them slow play, we've seen them rush, we've seen them use smokes and cross dry too. It's been beautiful variation.
It's looking like last round, but sped up a little bit. One player goes down. Double smokes outside as they walk, but this will get tested.
Oh my gosh. A bombardment of frag grenades at the moment. Alu is boosted, just hoping someone peeks off heaven. Spots nothing in the end.
Man, that's great. You know, they just squeezed that little bit of extra value out of the smokes with the boost.
Juicing them.
Popping a couple of steroids, as Machine would say.
We have Alu double back through lobby. Could apply pressure on ramp. There is a player pushed up, though. I like this. A bit of aggression from Lekro. Not overextending through the lobby. Not a hyper-aggressive flank, but a good off angle to easily catch a man off guard. He's got support, though. Oh, Alu. He saves X7. Now creates a question. This is one of those moments, like you said before, where you see the crosshairs is telling you the tell of the tape. They're not sure where the hit's coming in from. Sergey successful on A once more. Get Right doubles back to his demise. Rez trades, and it's down on B that the T's succeed yet again. 25 seconds left. Rez tucks tail, tries to head back over towards Hell, and Alu, well, he seems to be planting on A, and if the CT's fast enough,
Yeah.
not going to catch him in
Still
retreat.
at the bottom of the ladder. Yeah, not knowing where the second man was. If he had vision on the site, of course, he would have just sped his way up and dropped that bomb. And now that he sees that it's planted back site and he doesn't spot an opponent, he's going to be pretty certain that someone's in hut. Alu, in the meantime, has decided to work his way all the way around to get to the back of heaven. I don't know if there's somebody here that can defend this bomb plant. He has to hope and pray that it's going to be a stick, but or that it's not a stick. But look at this.
It's a headshot. It's a Glock, and it's on burst. Oh, he's bamboozled himself.
Was that the best gun that he could? That he had?
I'm assuming he had his op on his back. He had a primary. There was a gun, but he waits, thinking maybe it's a fake. Goes for the peek, has one chance.
But like, I think there's like not a worse gun in the game.
Especially on burst fire.
And like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe burst fire may be close or something, but like,
yeah, he's got an op on his back.
Yeah, at this distance, there's really no reason. I mean, he didn't want to have to scope, I suppose, but maybe he thought that.
What?
That was just a great face. Like, just the vitriol and disgust at the moment, you know?
Fast play is what they're going to bounce back with, though. Aerial just charges into the A site, looking to capitalize on the quizzical looks of probably both teams that round.
Yeah, there were 4 things that were very confusing, all of them equally important, but no time to question them all, so here it is. Another bomb plant upstairs. Sergey on the flank just to make things even more hairy, and I think he did spot another player. Yeah, well, at least
certainly.
that information came his way somehow.
Forrest found. Doubles back towards the bomb site. Last round of the half, he's got to go for the clutch and kicks it off with 2, but he gets himself no further. It's 3 rounds for the Ninjas, all of which coming in the final 5 of the half. Oh boy, imagine if that hard reset had been on the old economy settings. I think this is a prime example of how the new cash flow has given NiP a bit of a breathing space at the end of this one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it didn't do them any favors in the first half, but
no.
I guess, you know, that at least it perpetuates into the second half. And we saw that it afforded MIBR the security blanket to kind of get back into it versus Ence, but Ence are just in peak form right now. They just are continuing to look good. They look solid. NIP are no slouches, especially at Blast. Historically, they've done well. And that's just to say on land. They just haven't played that many lands outside of Blast. So in recent memory, they've done a good job at tournaments like this. And, you know, it's going to be a big victory for Ence to look back on.
For a bunch of Ninjas, these guys aren't being very sneaky. They've charged straight down secret stairs with a 5v3 advantage. Utility on top of it. Sits on the belt of Lekro. X7 will have the high road. Oh. Nice tap. Goes for a second. Can't catch it. Get Right's now going to lurk out onto the A side as well. Alu's revealed himself, and Sergey could have a flank. Is there a kit? Not on one of these players yet.
Just want to make sure they're not getting double bamboozled. Being aware of any late lurks or flanks, anyone coming out of hut. Sergey gets killed in secret, and it's just down to Alu. 1-on-4 situation. Will have to hit the shots of his life. First one comes out, and he's got info on 2 more players. Time's almost down to half, though.
See, luckily the USP is better than a Glock, so he probably has some chances at the moment. He can't put this one on burst fire. He's going to close that gap, charges towards the bomb site, but whether he likes it or not, he's dancing with Get Right and Forrest, who have evaded him very successfully. They come back in for the knife, and nobody gets their kills.
Unlucky. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, the pistol doesn't go their way. They do collect a little bit of money there for the Opper on Ence. 12-4. Ninjas still have a chance. It's good to see that they've won the second pistol, so at least he can be somewhat competitive. A force up here for Ence as we move into round 17. A nice first shot from X7. Nice. Really sick, but
Alu had a couple taps,
you kind of just blow your load there, and then all the easy ones are just, you know, you're already just thinking about the clip. You're like, damn, I hit that. Can't wait to look back on this clip, and then you go ahead and whiff the next 10 bullets. Or at least that's what I.
Smokes down, Mohan. This was a bread and butter play for Ence on their T side. But we've got Ninjas actually grouping themselves outside of Mini. Bomb sat back outside. Not going to play off of it. I want to see Sergey's Nova. Just playing inside that hut.
You call your Nova Nova Scotia?
No, I should though.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good idea.
I take royalties in any form, however you'd like to pay.
Did you know that we're, speaking of royalties, I don't know about you, man, but I haven't gotten my paycheck for being in the Ence song? The Easy for Ence song?
Dude, we charted on Spotify.
Yeah,
Can I just say that?
We were top 40 Finland, if not more. That was the last I checked. I'm going to put that on my resume. Finally, it won't be blank.
Do you have any theories as to what might have happened with Alu on that round? I want to say, just to kind of bail him out, potentially, that someone told him that he was low. Like, that's the only reason I could ever see.
Right.
I think the
burst
was a mistake, yeah.
100%.
You're kind of just like, you know? You do that sometimes, and then sometimes you go, and then you're screwed.
Yeah.
So, that could have been that. Benefit of the doubt here, right? Over 100 ADR on Forrest.
Yeah.
And as of late, what else do you expect? He's just been so good. Dragon's at 34, which is really low.
Yes.
That's like some of the very lowest numbers you can have for ADR. So that'll matter. But ultimately, the only score that matters is the one at the top. If they lose, that's when you can kind of get critical. If you win, then no one really cares. So we'll see if NIP can do it. It's another eco cleanup for them. Forrest goes ahead and gets 3 Glock kills. They've got half the rounds of Ence, but I'm sure tons of hope. And let's see, so much money to work with. Clean anti-eco, very nice. Also, was the way that Ence got back into the first half, or the way that Ence stayed ahead in the first half, It was just like, you know, such clean anti-ecos on top of their clean rifle rounds. Never had a moment to lose all their money. Because when it really gets hairy with this economy is when you have that streak of rounds that you lose, or that you win, and then you lose one. And then you just don't have any money left over as the team who won all of those rounds left over. But if you have the extra bank, then you're almost always good. More money to chew through. So how can we compare what we saw from Ence to NIP on their T side? There's this kind of perimeter of terrorists by the spawn outside, and they're slowly approaching outside control, but it's actually just Draken who's going to be used kind of as a mercenary up here from the silo. A watchtower position where you can seek out info. But otherwise, they haven't made too many other moves.
Lexi's going to play close, dodges the flash, tries to double back and help, but Get Right then surprises him. And it's the tease to fire off. Alu called back in through Mini. He's got X7, going to the heavens.
He's fast.
Very quick.
He made noise.
Lekro's looking upwards, anticipates the headshot. Alu should probably play off contact. He actually blindsides him. Alu gets 2. This is going to open up an opportunity for X7 to drop down into the bomb site. And if he starts defusing that, it's going to pressure this afterplant from the ninjas. They have to run in. In fact, he comes off it. That gives another chance for Draken to peek, but he's not going to get eyes on it in time. So the defuse is there. Ence with a 2 versus 4.
That was, in fact, a 2 versus 4. And I was going to say it comes down to whether or not X7 can win this very, very disadvantaged fight from heaven. And instead, Alu goes ahead and gets those first 2 kills, completely cracks this round wide open. So important with the AUG. Never had to move for any of the fights that he took. In fact, gets all 4. Oh my goodness. I mean, if that doesn't make up for past blunders, I don't know what does. So, yeah, frustrating game for Draken. I mean, that was a shot that maybe wouldn't have mattered,
right,
but it was an easy shot that he didn't hit. You know, you always think about that. Like, damn, why is my op not working today? So just kind of an unfortunate situation for him at the moment.
Should blame it on the ping.
And it could be a very important match. Hey, Swedes always have low ping.
Aerial. Deep off angle. Maybe too many bodies to deal with. He actually gets past that flash and sprays for the double, but he's caught. They're going to come charging in on him. He's fine with that. A 3K from Aerial. Has time to scratch his face while the reload goes through and comes back out for more.
Yeah, yeah. A privilege not many of us have when we're playing very high price situations. Wow, well done. You could see that. I mean, so for NIP, the entire round rested on that one flashbang.
Correct.
But you could see by the trajectory that it was meant to go deep enough to flash anybody in a position like that, but it had multiple bounces, right? It was like skipping a rock. It was definitely kind of an offhanded throw, and because it just went a couple centimeters too deep, or feet, or whatever metric you use, it wasn't able to blind him, and he got 3 kills. So he gets blind. If he gets blind, they run into Mini, eyes focused on the prize on inside, never have to deal with him, and we see a completely different round. And instead, because they trusted the flash and had two players with the back turns that could not respond to a player who's so far away and ready for that spot, the round is over. And it's not even that, like, it's not to take away from how good his spray was and everything. His positioning is what won them the round. 2 off from taking this map in convincing fashion. Definitely still in stomp territory for Ence. And it's, for me, it feels like it's all about building up the storyline if they actually get to the final, because before yesterday I wasn't sure. Today it seems clear.
They're gonna go right out. Ninjas trying to hammer their way straight through. Will trade back from a 3v5 to 3v3, turned on its head once more. Successful trades from Ence. This has just been the tail of the tape. Marco's gonna reposition. It's already being spotted. Now it's confirmed. Spam shots actually gives him an additional kill. I mean, that's one hell of a way to cut down the numbers.
Yeah.
He has so much time as well, and I love Nuke in situations like this. Options so open, but what's he opt to do?
So obviously the branching path for him is to delay to see if the CTs make some heinous rotation or adjustment or get frisky while the time ticks down, and then we'll just regress back into one of the same angles that he was in before. And here it is, somebody looking around inside of Hut, and he gets taken out swiftly. Not a single point of damage to Electro, and although Ariel has full HP, I don't think the health bars matter all that much at the moment. He's got enough to survive 2 bullets, and he has the opportunity to shoot someone in the back. Could he get this kill? That player is spotted, but Ariel's just a bit too good.
Damn, that's very similar to me at like the range of engagement to the previous round when he's sitting outside in the garage. You know, long distance, narrow angle, still comes out on top. And unfortunately for Nip, we're talking 9 map points here in round 3 on the C stream.
Not the first time that they've forced their way out of a squeaky smoke.
Yeah.
For Nip, it went a little bit better the last time, but ultimately a strat like that is destined to be volatile. And so, I mean, and Nip had to just put together so many rounds that it's not a surprise that they just are going to try stuff as well. So unsure what they'll try now. We have just so much more good data for Ence on their T side and how they were able to work it. Much less so on NIP, but they can draw that storyline for us now. Not everybody's got good guns. Draken does have a deagle, but they do have a few rifles. Now they're walking outside. Something we haven't seen. Well, let's see if they can complete this kind of inner push.
Thing is, too, Lecro definitely heard Ariel run from that outer garage into Mini. So he's going to float a little longer. Those pistols have worked their way downstairs. They'll be met by resistance, not only in the form of the flames, but also an AUG on the other side. Get Right playing Siege. Has a line of sight into the bomb, but it's Alexi with an opening kill. Tries to keep his head down as he flashes his way back. Has support from a teammate, too.
I'm curious what Ence's adjustment's going to be now that they've been pushed back. They look a little bit nervous, but they've clearly got time to recollect themselves.
Oh, they're making a big ruckus. Ariel's ready. He lines them up, only with 2 this time around, but Get Right and Forrest still up and able to open the A site. Get Right even has a good line of vision, anticipates X7, but there's so many positions to watch. He's got his head on a swivel, and that could create the window of opportunity that Ence need to come crashing back into this bomb site. No, executed, sent back down. And Alexi now can't trade straight away. The lobby hit is coming, but Alu a little too slow for the moment. Get Right's close. Gut shot, not gonna happen. That's Ninjas with at least a 7th.
And what is that? 3 kills on the round, plus an extra dink into heaven.
Correct.
An absolutely amazing round from Get Right. Really, really well done. That first kill upstairs was the most important one by far. It was a very strange angle to have to flick to with the box in his way as well, and he kind of crouched into it and still was able to get that headshot cleanly. Also, X7 was surely just trying to bait him into shooting, but had no plans of actually engaging or even dying, and Get Right had a very small window of time to get that kill. And as you highlighted, Connor, when he was on top of the hut, his head was on the swivel. He was looking between so many angles. If he missed one opportunity, then it starts pouring, right? And he was able to capitalize each and every time. Pistols for most players on Ence. Still retain this just kind of drastic lead. So there's no sense getting excited for NIP just yet. They've still got a lot to show us as well. And this is probably where it gets a little bit tricky as to maybe how much money exactly Ence have, what kind of buy they're going to be going for. That push comes in just in time. We saw Lecro in animation.
Oh, Ariel. He's even going to get himself a double. He's been so good at getting these multi-frags when they just come parading towards him. So this is it, folks. We're talking 8 map points and a 1 versus 5 from Draken.
There's no chance he's going to win this, Connor.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be honest.
Okay, yeah, but go ahead and make it exciting for the fans.
Doesn't even have utility.
No, it's pretty much nothing that he can work with here.
But with 35 seconds, folks, it's doable. Maybe. Just 1 CT planted on the bomb. I mean, you know what? What Draken can do is give us some highlight clips. You know, that's what we always praise with this Opper. But now he's going to get smoked off and never even sees it coming. So sure enough, as one would have expected, the 5v1 too much to handle. Ence overwhelmed the Ninjas here on Nuke.